So now this time we're going to take you to a different part of the country. Colombia is mountainous almost throughout, but there is a section of Colombia which is on the east coast, which is plains. And that is where we have our version of the cowboys. And so what you're going to hear next is a song called, and a dance called Sanjuanero, and this is going to have a little bit of a country feel to it. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, as we take a little tour around Colombia, this last piece that we're going to be dancing from you comes from yet another section. So just as a recap, the first song, that was from the Pacific Coast. The second song, that was from the center of Colombia, the area of Bogota, the capital. This most recent song, that's from the east side of Colombia, right next to Venezuela. This next song is going to be from the coast, from the Caribbean, the Atlantic coast. This is what's called the Cumbia. Now, a lot of people don't know a whole lot about Colombia. I mean, they know that we've got the world's greatest coffee, right? Not everybody knows that we have the world's most beautiful emeralds. By now, everybody should know we have the world's most beautiful women. We did just win Miss Universe, after all. It's not common just to her, it's all around the country. Thank you, thank you. I get no credit for that, but I appreciate it anyway. But you know, when people think about the Hispanic culture, or Spanish, oftentimes what we think about, really, especially in this part of the country, is Mexican, because we might think about like mariachis, but that's Mexico, that's not us. Or you might think about like those really big sombreros, that's Mexican, that's not us, we don't do that either. Or you might think about tequila, that's Mexican, that's not us either, we don't do that. We have something else called aguardiente, which literally translated means water with teeth. Okay, so it's our version of moonshine, really good stuff. You might think about salsa, but that's not us either. That's Puerto Rico, that's Cuba. Maybe you like to dance and you think about like merengue, bachata, but that's not us either. That's the Dominican Republic. So what does signify Colombia? Well, what signifies Colombia when it comes to music more than anything else is the cumbia, which is what you're about to see. So what I find so interesting about the cumbia is looking at where it came from, because you know, Colombia, like the United States, is a fusion of three different races. It is the Native American Indian race that was there to begin with, the white supremacist Spaniards that showed up to conquer and steal our gold, right? And then they also brought with them African slaves. So when they did that, they set up all of their ports in the Atlantic coast because that's where they could take all the gold from Bolivia, from Peru, from Colombia, take it to the port, and then put it on ships and take it back to Spain. So when they would bring slaves over, all the slaves were on the Atlantic coast because that's where they needed them to do the hard labor. Which is why I explained earlier that when the slaves wanted freedom, they would escape to the Pacific coast. Well, those slaves that were on the Atlantic coast brought with them music and dance from their world. And where they came from, for the most part, is what today we call Nigeria. And the music that they brought over, and in particular this one, is a song of kind of like reproduction. It's not about sex, it's about the race going on, about creation. And it's music that they dance to a god called Obatala. And in this song and in this dance, they brought the drum beat. And those of you that like to dance and you enjoy music, you know that the best part of the music is the drum beat. Well, that came from Africa. You know, the Europeans were all about the string musics. The Native American Indians were all about the wind instruments. It was the Africans that brought that drum beat, and that's what makes it so wonderful to dance to. So when they came over with this music and with this dance, they wanted to dance. They wanted to dance with each other. But of course, during the day, they were busy working. So when would they dance? They would dance at night. And they would dance around an open fire pit. And they would dance with the young ladies, trying to court them. But because they were slaves, their feet were shackled. Because their feet were shackled, the steps were very short steps. They could not take long, big steps. So as you watch this dance, I want you to think about that. I mean, one, the idea of courtship, but secondly, the idea that the steps are very short steps, and the reason why is because our legs are supposed to be shackled, because we're slaves. So that's where our cumbia came from, and I hope you enjoy it very much. Thank you.
Colombia, sí, sí, Caribe. saxo y oigo un pianín y toda la orquesta forma una fiesta en torno de mí y yo soy la cumbia, la hembra coqueta y bailo feliz y yo soy la cumbia, la hembra coqueta y bailo feliz. Yo nací en las bellas playas caribes de mi país, tranquilera, cartagenera, yo soy de aquí, soy de Santa Marta, soy monteriana, pero eso sí, yo soy colombiana, oh tierra hermosa, donde nací. Yo soy colombiana, oh tierra hermosa, donde nací. Y yo soy la cumbia, la hembra coqueta y bailo feliz. Y soy colombiana, oh tierra hermosa, donde nací.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. You know, and when maybe you were wondering what the four guys were doing when they were doing this, that's rowing on a canoe on the river, fishermen. Okay, well, before we leave, I want to introduce you to our little family here so that we can say goodbye properly. First up, Oscar, Alejandra, Cristina, Luis, Guillermo, you all know Laura Mendez, Laura Forrero, I'm Luis Valencia, and missing tonight but never forgotten, the person who helps us learn how to dance, the heart and soul of our group, Yuri Velasquez. Thank you. Have a good night. Thanks for inviting us.
¡Adiós, Colombia! Mira,